Julia, what are you wearing?
Well, Jack, we're going to have a very hot show today.
I thought we were doing cold custard.
Well, we are going to do cold custard, but we're also going to do creme brulee.
Oh, gosh. Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. Well, on this custard show, we're going to start out with the famous Creme Anglaise, or English custard sauce, and we have to have 6 egg yolks.
Yes, usually you use 3 egg yolks per cup of liquid. Do you want them directly in your pot?
Yeah, direct them in there. There's a cold pan there.
And that's one way, of course, of separating the eggs. I feel that, you know, a lot of people, when they separate with the shell, lose a third of the egg white, you know, which stay in the shell or...
And they lose the feeling of egg.
Right.
Which is left. This is
the feeling of egg yolk. You need the lecithin in egg yolk, which is an emulsifier to thicken the milk. The problem, of course, is that if you go above 180 degrees, right, you get scrambled eggs. So we got to be careful.
Now I want to have 2/3 cup of sugar gradually beaten in.
Okay.
If you pour it in all at once, you might, as they say, burn the egg yolks. So you never add it all at once. Then this has to beat until it's thick and pale yellow. And that prepares the yolks for the horrors that are to come, doesn't it? And I'm just going to go on beating. My milk is ready, hot milk. I have 1½ cups of hot milk.
Okay.
You could make it richer with half and half or whatever you want, but I'm just doing the simple diet recipe.
Yeah. And if you take that creme anglaise, which is a sauce to go with, it goes with floating island, croûte de fruits, snow eggs. If you freeze it, you have a standard French ice cream. And if you put gelatin in it, when it's cold, you put whipped cream and you have a Bavarian cream. And if you put flour, it becomes a pastry cream. You know, and if you put egg white in your pastry cream, you have a soufflé.
You can beat a little bit here.
Okay,
but it really is one of the basic dessert sauces that you gotta have in your repertoire.
Yes.
And when you say make the ribbon, let's show what that means. See, it makes the ribbon on the surface.
When it falls on itself.
Slowly dissolving. Do you think that's enough?
Oh, that's plenty, I think.
That's plenty.
Yes.
Now, I'm just going to pour this in very gradually, because you don't want to heat the egg yolks too fast all at once, or they'll scramble. And then after this, you have the problem of heating this until it thickens.
Yes, this is the delicate part. Okay.
So I'll go, and when it starts thickening, I'll yell, but you're going to do the profiteroles.
Yes. Okay.
And I have this over moderate heat, and I'm going to slowly stir it around. And one indication that it's thickening is that you see this surface foam that will begin to subside.
Right.
We'll also see a little whiff of steam coming up.
So you have ice there, ice cold, another bowl, a very fine double strainer. So you will push that through it after?
Yes, I will.
Any scramble will be left into the strainer, so that's a good idea.
Presumably there will be no scramble.
No scrambling, okay.
Okay.
Shall I start on my milk, which is boiling nicely here? So I have a cup of milk here. I'm going to do a patachoux, that is a cream puff dough, and I put half a stick of butter in there. This will do close to 50 profiterole, so it does quite a lot. and a little dash of sugar for color, about a teaspoon of sugar. So what you have to do is to melt your butter in the hot milk, and you put 1 cup of flour. Now, there is a different way of getting your flour. The way I get it is by going into it and leveling it off this way. This way, a cup of flour is 5 ounces, 5 to 5.5 ounces when it's taken this way. When everything is melted, barely to a boil around, what you want to do is to remove it from the heat, and you dump your flour in 1 block into it. And then with a sturdy spoon like this, you work it around into a mixture that we call a panade, that first part of it. And I do that just off the stove. This will hold together quite nicely. Now I put it back on the stove to cook it half a minute or so to dry it out a little bit. And you will find out that it dries out when the bottom of my pan is starting getting cakey. This is the base of different things too. We do choux, éclair, profiterole, Saint-Honoré, Paris-Brest, all of those different cake done with that mixture.
But a lot of people aren't doing that anymore, mainly because they don't know how, I think. It's not part of the quick cooking that a lot of people like.
What do you think?
It looks beautiful to me.
It's cool.
That's perfect.
And as you can see, if I remove that, the bottom of the pan is kind of cakey here, so there is a shell. And that's what I want, to dry it out a little bit. That could be mixed by hand, but I think we're going to do it in the food processor. So I put it directly in there. Theoretically, you should not put your eggs on something very hot. You should wait at least 5 minutes. But I'm going to cool it off a little bit by turning that. Conventionally, you need 4 eggs. When I see that it's thickened, then I put the rest of it. And that's it.
Jacques, you might come over and look at this and see how we're doing. I think it's getting pretty thick. I can't see what it says.
I can't see what it says either. Can I borrow your glasses?
Yes.
Okay, I think it says that it needs a little more. It's 155, so another.
Well, it's
it's thickening. Yes, it's thickening nicely. And it's not going to take long. This is the crucial moment now.
And also, if you see a little bit of steam coming up here, that means it's just about ready. But most of the bubbles have gone, and it's thick enough so that it's really coating the spoon, isn't it?
Right.
And I can see the steam.
Yeah, that's
good.
That's
done, whatever the thermometer says.
Yes.
Don't you think that's done?
No, it's done. It's done. I can see the thickening. That's it. I'll help you with a rubber spatula here.
You have to have the courage to heat it up to this point, though. I think trying to do a thermometer is just too difficult. I think it's easier just to look at it.
That's it.
Now, I always put a little bit of butter in with it. That also cools it down. It's about a nice tablespoon, because we just use plain milk.
That's nice.
And then a little bit of
vanilla.
About a tablespoon of vanilla. And then, if you like, a liqueur flavoring.
You want some rum?
Yeah, I like this dark rum.
Good. In that case here, at the beginning, when you put it directly on ice, that lowers the temperature very fast, and that may prevent curdling. So now we just have to cool it off and cook our profiterole, right? So now we're going to use a pastry bag like this one. This is a 16-inch. I think that's yours, right? You fold the side so that you don't get it messy all around. And this
you can use a plastic bag.
Yes. Yeah, you can use a plastic bag and just cut the corner.
Yeah.
You know? Very often on this, you fold this in to push it back inside so the mixture doesn't fall out. There is no danger. It's pretty thick, but sometimes it's liquid. And I like to put it directly on some type of bowl like this. So I put it in there. It makes it easier to fill it up. And what I have here is a special, nothing stick to it. And now they are widely available.
And it doesn't burn either.
Magic things. Or then you can put some parchment paper in it, or also cook it on a non-stick pan.
There you are.
Get everything out of it. Okay. what you want to do now is to fold it like an accordion and then grab it here and start twisting in that direction. Now you extend this. And at that point, you direct it from that hand here. So we'll do some small one here.
No, I think that is important, that thing of lifting up properly.
Yeah, you want to break at the end. You don't move, and then you break. So you don't move your...
You're keeping it down.
Yes. If you do this,
I'll
triple in
try
volume.
one of those and see if I can do it nicely the way it should be done.
Good.
Well, that was quite good.
Good. I'm going to need a wash with it.
And the nice thing when you do it with the egg, you can always shape them up again, can't you?
Oh, sure.
If you've made kind of a mess.
Yeah, that's the idea there. You push the tail down anyway.
That gives them a nice color.
Yes. Now I'm going to put them in the oven, about 10 minutes, 400 degrees, and I lower the heat to 350, and about 25 minutes for the profit roll.
Well, we'll set the timer.
Okay. Okay, I think they look cooked now. I'm going to shut up the oven, and they are nice and brown. They are cooked, but if you take them out, they'll tend to collapse. So I leave the door open for 10, 15 minutes for the steam, to go, and then we'll take them
now,
out.
some people at this point poke them, a little hole in them. You don't do that.
I don't. Do you want to poke one?
No, not if you don't do it. This is your way of doing it.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do the caramel custard.
Caramel custard,
I think it's just
the creme caramel. So we want to start by doing a caramel. And I'm going to do more caramel than I need because I want to do a caramel sauce. So I'm doing a cup here. This is a third of a cup, right?
Oh.
And just enough water to moisten the sugar.
It's about 1/3 water to 2/3 sugar, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think even less, 3 tablespoons of water would be enough. Shall we do the custard? No, this will take a little while.
Fine. All right, we're going to do the caramel custard.
Caramel custard, yes.
So we need egg yolks again.
5 eggs and 1 egg yolk,
5
right?
eggs and 1 yolk.
You want to give me 1/3 of sugar in there? And you can put your sugar in there, or actually in the milk. Doesn't really make much difference.
We don't want a lot of foam in that, do we?
No, I just want
Really,
to...
they just want to be mixed.
Yeah.
Because if you have a lot of foam, it's hard to get out.
I think we have 2 cups of milk and a cup of half and half. You could have 3 cups of milk. It's perfectly fine.
Or you can make it all with cream, and then that would be more like the creme brulee.
It would be a bit rich, yes.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 sticks of vanilla I put in there.
No.
What I like to do is to bring it to a boil with the vanilla and cover it and let it steep for like 5 minutes.
That's what it already has done.
Yes.
While you weren't looking.
Good.
So it's ready to use. Now we just stir this in.
Right.
And there are your vanilla beans. Now these you can use again, can't you?
Oh yes, I use them several times, but what I like to do here is to strain this.
Yes, we should strain it. Because there will be little hard bits.
Sometimes little pieces of eggs, yes. Yeah, you can see that in there.
And we've got most of the foam out, which is good too. Good.
And after that, I cut this in half, like this, and put it flat and scrape out. You scrape out the inside here. This is all those tiny black dots,
So that will stay
vanilla.
in the custard.
Yeah. But it's very good. That's what you see, the real vanilla ice cream with those little black dots in it. You want to mix this. You want to put a little bit of vanilla extract
How much do you want?
Yeah, about a teaspoon or so. Good.
And that's really all it's going to need, isn't it?
That's about all, except for the caramel.
It's very important to see how the sugar looks as it's turning into caramel, because you're going to be boiling sugar at various stages all your life.
Yeah, this is the break stage, what they call time at which you would do sugar roses, and it's a white caramel, or when you dip a strawberry into a white caramel like that, you do it this way, and you can test it with a spoon, like this.
And it's the hard crack.
Yeah, and it will form little ball of hard caramel here.
That's the hard crack. That's very near the caramel.
Yeah.
And just keep watching it at this point. But it darkens very quickly from now on. And be very careful. You can get an awful burn from caramel, so be very careful.
You think the color is fine?
I mean,
it gets darker and darker, and you know,
we
you like a
don't
caramel.
want it to get darker
Not
and
too
darker.
dark? Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll put a little bit in there, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. And that will get hard pretty fast. Now here, in what's left, I have about half a cup of caramel left. In that half a cup of caramel, I put about 4 or 5 tablespoons of water. Carefully,
Keep away from it.
And that will make a caramel sauce. That is, the caramel will reboil with the water. And at that point, it will dilute the caramel, it will be liquid. And when I cool it off, instead of getting hard like this, it will be a thick, heavy sauce, which you can dilute with a bit of cognac or lemon juice or whatever you want. And that becomes a caramel sauce, you know? So, we finish with our caramel. And as you can see, this is already hard. So now we are ready to put the custard on top. It fits just about, huh? And then you put that into a water bath. Because if it cooks too fast, it's going to start rising. And often you see that the caramel custard, all of the outside look like a sponge because it starts expanding. It cooked too fast. Up. Pour that into the oven, 350 degrees for 1 hour. And be sure that the water doesn't boil. If you see that the water started boiling around, which it shouldn't, this is lukewarm water from the tap, start boiling, put a couple of ice cubes around. And now maybe we could finish the
profiteroles.
Profiterole. I think the creme anglaise is cold, right?
It's cold enough, I think.
You know what I like to do? I don't know you. I like to open them and put whipped cream or ice cream in it. At that point, you can see the center is totally hollow, you know. Before the ice cream, I like to put a little bit of jam in the bottom. I'm putting a quarter of a teaspoon, you know.
Yeah.
And now, we want to put a little bit of ice cream in there, right? Look at that cute scoop.
Oh, very cute.
This is classic. Put a hat on top of this. And we do a little bit of creme anglaise, right? This is, you know, a simple, very classic dessert. Of course, as I said, this can be filled up often with ice cream like this, and then finish with chocolate sauce.
That's
in
what
that
I
case,
like.
we have the creme anglaise.
Profiterole au chocolat.
Profiterole au chocolat, yes. Now this, a little bit of a hat.
And you can make these profiterole way ahead and put them in the freezer.
Or maybe 3
I
is
think
enough.
3 is enough.
Yes. We can put a couple of berries around. We have blackberry here, or a couple of raspberry. So this is it for the profiterole.
Now we're going to do the famous creme brulee, and this is a real rich dessert.
Yes, delicious.
We have 8 egg yolks here, which have been beaten, as we did before, you know, to the ribbon stage. That's a beautiful example of it. And this was beaten with 3/4 cup of sugar. You want the sugar to melt, and it shows that it's melted when it makes the ribbon. And we have here 1 quart of cream. This can be heavy cream, light cream, half and half, but cream, nevertheless.
Yeah, I put grated orange peel and 1 vanilla beans. Then it comes to a boil, it's covered, so it can steep for 5 minutes to get taste.
And now it's going to be strained.
There, eh?
You want to be sure that you're not beating that you're just mixing
stirring
it.
Yes. That's it. Beautiful.
There we are.
So the mixture is quite rich here, but on the other hand, remember, the creme brulee we're doing are about half a cup. Pretty small.
Those are cute little cupskis, aren't they? They can fill it up to about there.
Yeah, this is up to the rim is half a cup, so it's not much. And it's fine.
You wouldn't beat this
rich.
every day, but just once in a while. It's very nice.
Okay. This has to go in the oven for about 25 minutes. 25 minutes at 350 degrees. You want to do it in a water bath also. Here's my caramel custard. So this one was 1 hour.
Now, it's very important to make sure that this is right.
Well, take it out for you.
Let's take it out. If one thing, it should still tremble.
Yeah, you can see
it is. You can see that it's trembling a little bit. And then take a little knife. It should come out clean toward the edges, which it does.
This has to cool off for a number of hours. So we're going to unmold it.
This is always the great drama.
The great drama. So, put a knife on the side here. One of the mistakes, don't turn the knife. Keep the knife straight. Move your mold all around until you're totally all around. I mean, the idea that, of course, is when you turn it to get a little bit of air underneath. And when I turn it, if it doesn't come out, I may put my knife so that if there is just a little bit, like one drop of air, then it unmold, you know?
No.
Yes. Up.
Things are coming out. There it is. It's done it. That's lovely.
Now, very often people go to a restaurant and they see there is a thick caramel sauce and they say, you know, when I do my caramel custard, the caramel is always liquid, like it is here. But that caramel becomes liquid, but very often in restaurants we move this out and we replace it with that caramel sauce that I did before, which, as you can see, is quite
lovely.
thick. And you can even put some,
that's
can
lovely,
even put some cognac on top of it, you know, to spread it out. So this is thicker
this
type
is
of
really
caramel.
One of my very favorite desserts.
Yes. I wanted to show the creme brulee now. We do the brulee, that is the crust on top. And you're the specialist of that, right? So I'm going to put a little bit, usually about a tablespoon of sugar.
That's light brown sugar.
And this is a light brown sugar. And make sure that your sugar is loose. I mean, usually I put 1 tablespoon, which you spread out, you know. Okay, so now we're ready for the torche, you know?
No, we can either put it under the broiler, or we can do it by hand.
Right.
With the blowtorch.
The blowtorch.
Some people don't feel a blowtorch belongs in the kitchen, but it really does.
It does. Okay. And those are great.
It takes a little while.
And it forms a thick crust on top.
I'm not sure it isn't better to do it under the broiler, but that's not as much fun.
It's not as much fun. But you know, it's already hard. I mean, you can hear it.
Yep, it
If
worked.
I crack it.
It worked.
So, il faut casser la croûte.
Oui.
You have to break the crust.
Break
Eat
one
it
and
now.
see how it is.
Okay. So we break the crust, and you go inside with a little piece of the crust and that very luscious inside.
That Weight Watchers dessert. Watching up, not down.
And that is which is really nice.
That's really good.
Well, this is great dessert to do with you.
We shall say bon appetit.
And happy cooking.
And thank you, Jacques.
Thank you.
A presentation of KQED San Francisco.